Hey guys, Blackout the Reaper, also known as Chris. We're going to dive right into the basics of Dungeons and Dragons. But before that, I'm going to talk about our sponsor, which is C's Designs at Etsy.com. Check out the link below in the YouTube channels. If you would like to make a donation to the cause but you want something in return, just go head over there. If you use code BTR15, you'll get 15% off your total order. Make it a little bit cheaper for you. And all the money, of course, is donated to the stream here to make things run smoothly. So, and I'd also like to give two shout outs. One to the greatest supplement company on the planet, Axe and Sledge Supplements, local to Plum, Pennsylvania. Head over to axandsledge.com, and there, if you use code BREI10, you can get 10% off the supplements there. They make a wonderful different flavors. Everything's perfect. Their farm-fed protein, the chocolate milkshake, oh, it is epic. So head over to Axe and Sledge Supplements, try them out, and hopefully you'll love them as much as I do. So, all right, from there, I'm going to give a shout out to my buddy John. First off, if you ever need any like Disney planning, he's like the guy to go to. He's perfect. But otherwise, he has his own podcast on Apple Podcasts and YouTube, which will be linked below. It is called Captain's Logs and Lightsabers, and they discuss both Star Trek and Star Wars, as well as they actually interview a bunch of the actors and even the leading science tech for Star Trek currently. So if you have any free time after watching my videos, head over there and check out John's podcasts. You can always listen in. He's always discussing amazing things. So again, check him out. All right, to continue, Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone's heard of it at one point or another. A lot of people kind of associate Dungeons and Dragons with nerds and whatever. But again, and I even did this in my interview and Evan's interview, we talked about it as well. A lot of famous people, a lot of bodybuilders play it. A couple of the people that I've played with in the past were bodybuilders themselves, and they even played Dungeons and Dragons. It's really not a nerd's game. And a lot of nerds play it because there's fantasy settings to it and whatnot. But a fantasy world is just something you kind of escape into. It's a story. What's cool about Dungeons and Dragons, in layman terms, all D&D is a story being told by the dungeon master, and you are playing a person in said story, and you get to choose how your character acts. So I'm not sure if anybody remembers those old Goosebump books that as you're reading it, it says turn to page 37 if you choose to do this, or turn to page 54 if you decide to go this way. It's kind of like that. There are basic rules and whatnot that are in essence taken off by dice. And ironically, I have this set of dice. It's the exact set of dice, and these are what I use for my warlock, which we are currently playing with in this in these videos. So, but basically, you use these dice, and it helps determine how and what happens as you play. So a lot of it bases around that D20, that dice right in the center there. But a lot of the attacks and damages and other smaller aspects are dealt with the other 6 dice. So, to delve into it a little bit more, D&D was invented in 1974 by these two gentlemen right here. Gary Gygax on the right and Dave Arnson on the left. First off, may they both rest and be living merrily in the halls of Valhalla, because they brought such a great creation to the planet Earth. It actually all started with a bunch of ideas from a lot of them. Gary here actually created a game, a little bit of a tabletop like battle game called Chainmail, and it took off from there. So there's different aspects pulled into one concept. If you'd like to find out more about it, I will actually link a video below called The History of the Original D&D. And you can actually learn a little bit more about how Chainmail helped create Dungeons and Dragons to the game it is right now. So, but just to go into the concept a little bit more, Dungeons and Dragons, it's a tabletop role-playing game. So there's aspects where the dice won't play effects, and it's just how you think your character will react and how you talk. and all that, and how you would act. There's things called in character and out of character. So sometimes some people are a little bit more strict with that, so you have to say that you're talking out of character. I make snide jokes all the time, like I'm gonna stab him and all that, thinking certain players will say like, "Oh, you meant that, so you're really gonna stab him, roll." And then there's other DMs that will go, "Ha ha ha! All right, do you really want to do that? Ha ha ha!" So, but there's that aspect. It's a role-playing game for the tabletop. But what's cool, it used to just be paper and pencils and books like this that you would just flip through to get rules and all that. And now, today's day age, you can actually honestly go on to dndbeyond.com. You can build your character there. You can find all the source books and source materials there. So they've actually kind of made it easier and streamed it like quicker to players with the advancements in technology. We're actually playing Dungeons and Dragons virtually now. We will at one point get back to tabletop, which I will have the camera set up to view us playing there. So, but until then, we actually have a digital map that we're playing, and it's almost kind of like a video game, but not. So, but again, Dungeons and Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game created by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. It's just basically a way to escape the mundane real world. You create a character and you go on an adventure. Everyone likes different kind of movies like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, all that kind of stuff. Now imagine yourself being in that world. You escape from this world and you're in that world. What would you do? What kind of person would you be in that world? Well, Dungeons and Dragons actually gives you that opportunity to do that. You get to take a step out of this world and into that world, even if it's for a couple of hours on a Sunday, like we play. So, it's broken up into adventures. Characters go from level 1 to level 20. Sometimes they go above level 20, depending on epic adventures or anything like that, depending on what your dungeon master wants to run with. So, but again, it starts off with like little adventures. Mainly adventures will take you from like level 1 to 2 or 1 to 6. There's little parts. But then an accumulation of adventures is often called a campaign. And every once in a while, and like what we're doing right now, there's homebrewed campaigns where you'll start off at level 1 and you just go until the DM wants to not do this anymore, or you want to shift off, or you make it to level 20 and it's time to start a new adventure. So those are homebrewed campaigns, but there's actually a lot of canonized campaigns. One of the famous ones is Forgotten Realms. So in my interview, I talk about Dritz, Do Erden. One of the reasons I actually got into playing D&D and fantasy because I loved the books by R.A. Salvatore. So if you ever have a chance to, go read them. All of them. They're amazing. So, but there's other ones like Dragonlance, Eberron, and multitude of more. So just go check them out. And you could just, if you don't feel like creating your own, you can already find a setting, a world that you can be a part of. You can use the histories and all that from that and create off of that. So it gives you a standing stone to work with. So, again, it's a pretty fun game to play. It's got a multitude of aspects to it. The best I can say is just give it a try. Pick up a dungeon or player's handbook. Your basic set normally comes with these 3 books right here. The Player's Handbook, the Dungeons Master Guide, and the Monster Manual. Player's Handbook is for the players themselves. It gives them all their classes and all their races, and what each one of those gives in the starting gear and spells. We'll dive into that first real quick. The Player's Handbook has a list of races, like think of dwarves or elves. Kind of have it in your mind of like with Lord of the Rings, where they would you'd have dwarves, elves, human, orcs, different races like that. Then there's the class. What are you in this weird, unique world? Are you a fighter? Did you spend your life mastering magic? Are you a thief? Do you like stealing things? All the classes give you a broad opportunity and arrangement to seek different aspects of the world. Then there's the Dungeons Master Guide in the center here. That is the for the half of the dungeon master himself. It gives him rules and building blocks to step off of, concepts that he can work with. Simple things of like, okay, your characters want to walk into a town. And what kind of town is it? How rich is it? How poor is it? Or if they're traveling in a dungeon, what comes up? It gives you preset roles and even tables that you can use. And then everyone's favorite, the monster manual at the end. It gives you the creatures that people fight or meet, the monsters that can spell their doom or can actually even aid them in their battles. So I'd advise picking up all three of these books if you're new and thinking about getting started. Again, Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master Guide, Monster Manual. Often they're sold in sets at your local hobby store. You can get them off of Amazon if you really wanted to. I advise buying shopping local, shopping small. It always helps out people that way. So again, D&D is in the end a a nice way to escape. It's a story being told that you get to be a part of. A lot of the greatest experiences that I've had over the years have happened during my D&D sessions, just having fun, enjoying friends, memorable moments, and all that. I actually even got my wife into wanting to play after she saw how much fun we'd have. Just the stupid things that we got to experience. One of the people you'll meet is Jordan in the interview section. He's notorious for rolling ones, but what's cool is he plays it off. He acts it off, and that's what like I respect that because ones give you a unique experience. And rolling a one in Dungeons and Dragons, you have your D20 like I stated in the center, and all that. And on the opposite side of that D20 in the center right there is a 1. In D&D terms, that's a critical fumble. That means you did so bad and it's horrible. Well, Jordan's notorious for rolling that 1. And more times than not, it's often in my campaigns that I'm running that it's all legit. It's all based off the dice roll, and he somehow dies and gets screwed over. So it's just I feel bad for him, but the dice always hate him. But it makes the adventures fun. Play the underdog, play the unique character, all that. Back in the books and all that, there's different aspects that you can go with character creation. You have like your backgrounds. Where'd you start off at? Like why are you adventuring and all. So it's you can actually create your own setting inside your head, or what I like about the newer fifth edition, it actually gives you random rolls, meaning you can literally roll your dice, and it'll give you a chart down on each side, and you just simply say like, all right, I got a 4 on the d6, and it will say, okay, this is why I act the way I do. This is the flaws that I have, or this is what makes me great. And you can build your personality randomly like that. Or if you want to, just watch TV, model your characters after famous actors in famous movies. Just different things like that. What's nice about Dungeons and Dragons, it gives you a whole array of different aspects to where you can express yourself differently. It is a game for anyone and everyone. So, if you ever wanted to learn, pick up the books, check out your local stores, hobby stores, even check on Facebook groups because that's what I joined, and that's actually where we met our dungeon master on a local Facebook group. So, again, leave comments below if you have any questions, if you would like me to dig into more about Dungeons and Dragons, if you're looking to start and need help, feel free to ask. I'm always here to help when I can and how I can. Just reach out to me at Blackout the Reaper. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Twitch. So continue watching the videos. Please like, please subscribe. And again, thank you guys. Stay tuned for some epic action. All right. How do you like the layout that I've produced?
I'll look at it.
A little bit
Looks good.
homely. You got your your tavern layout. As you could see, we're all resting in a nice tavern next to the fire. The scroll opens up to be a picture of you. How wonderful, an ink blot of you, and all. So that took a little bit of finagling, but I've learned a lot with this process. So, but uh, to the whole wide world that may be watching, I have a couple people watching. This is pretty cool. Um, this is my intros section. Going to do small little interviews with each of the player characters and a little bit about what they're about, why they started playing D&D, when they started playing D&D, and then going into the characters' backgrounds, why they chose the kind of character they're going to play, what their character is all about, his goals. Um, so we're just going to begin with Evan here, who is a Tabaxi rogue named Smoke. And if you can all see, kaboom, the picture that comes up. The perfect little picture to describe our Tabaxi rogue. So, start off with introduce yourself.
So I am Evan. You might see me introduced as the Irish Horseman. It's my gamer tag that I really have yet to use as far as like Twitch goes, but planning on doing it eventually. Yeah, that's the basics. What else do you want to know?
What got you into playing D&D? We've been, you and I have been best
So
friends for 20 some years.
yeah,
So our wives call each other like ourselves our husbands and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I know that you got in it because of me, but tell the world why you got into D&D.
So we were probably about 9 years old when we met, and I mean, when you're that age, all you want to do is hang out with your friends on the weekends. And every single time I'd go to want to hang out with Chris, it seemed like he was going over to his uncle's friend's house to play Dungeons and Dragons with him. And I probably kicked and fought and screamed for the better part of 3 years, saying, like, that's stupid. Why are you bothering? Let's go play video games. Let's go ride bikes. Let's do something a little bit more interesting. I didn't know anything about it at the time, but eventually, um, Chris, he's as stubborn as a bull and really won't waver on much of anything ever. So he got his way, and I decided to go and try out a campaign that his uncle, who you're going to meet later, was heading at the time. I had no idea what I was doing. First session I went out, it was Chris, myself, his uncle, and our buddy Mike. And it was just, we spent probably the better part of 2 hours making my character. I really had no idea what I was doing. And I mean, really talk about shitting out a winner for my first character. So a half dragon wizard.
A real winner at
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's a half dragon wizard, and I was just hooked from the first session. I mean, we were low level, maybe level 5, I think, when I started. So I had up to second level spells, I think. So magic missile and a couple other little things.
This was
And
3.0
3.5.
edition. No,
No,
because
that was 3.5.
we started
It
off
was,
at 3.0 a little bit.
no, you and Mike did. I
Hmm.
came in at 3.5. You guys handed me a player's handbook to take home that week,
Yeah, yeah.
and I had it damn near memorized by the following week. Um, and that was probably the best character I've ever played as far as D&D goes. Um, Dice were just hot for me. At one point, I was given an option that went with my character's backstory to um, basically become a demigod. This was much higher level. It was towards the end of the campaign, but it involved casting a spell. And what basically the dungeon master pulled me aside and he goes, "Look, you have to roll two natural 20s in a row and a natural 100 in order for the spell to work. Otherwise, your character is erased from existence. No one ever knew they were around. Like no wish spell, no god, no nothing can ever bring you back. And I'd written it into my character background that very first weekend that I was going to cast a spell to save my people. So when he told me that, I was like, I fought with it for a little bit, and uh, probably towards the end of that session, I was like, you know what? This is what I made the character for. This is what he's all about. I'm gonna go for it. And right in front of, at the time, I think we had 5 people at the table. Bang, bang, bang. Two 20s and a 100. It was just meant to be. It's that's got to be hitting the D&D lottery. But yeah,
It's
that
the only
was
time he's ever been good.
yeah, that first campaign. I was natural 20, natural 20, natural 20. Every campaign since then, eh. So yeah, that's you'll probably hear us reference that campaign a lot. But
Yeah, our characters were half brothers and all that, and we kind of hated each other. Like our characters hated each other. So we played that off as basically we were each other's evil brother. Even though we were in the same party and kind of did whatever the hell we wanted, we still that was kind of playing out off
yeah, that's how
as
we
being
we
fun.
rolled it. Yeah.
So, all right, time traveling to now. We are playing D&D 5th edition rules. It's been that long. I know we're getting back into playing. This is actually our first full 5e campaign since getting back into D&D. Obviously, with the pandemic and all that, we've fallen out. We're just falling out a little bit of prior to the pandemic, truthfully, because both Evan here and myself, we had kids. And not that kids ruin everything, but they take up a lot of your time, and we just couldn't dedicate, and we couldn't travel at the time. And then the pandemic hit, and so we just all kind of like took just a massive break. But now that things are kind of clearing up, and with the introduction of awesome technology that you guys will see in the next episodes of us actually playing the game, we can actually do this all virtually. Now, the game plan is to sometimes slash moving into us playing on tabletop again, which we will have cameras angled to the mats on the tables. But until then, the adventure will be taking part via a virtual tabletop. So, thankfully, that has proven useful to us that we can proceed with this. So, but with these fifth
Hopefully.
edition rules, there's a lot of playable races. What I like about the fifth edition rules is they've actually taken a lot of different things and kind of dumbed it down, for lack of better terms, and made a lot of the races kind of easier to play if you wanted to play something different. One of said race is Evan's character here, which is a tabaxi, which is in essence a cat anthro person. And Ev here has decided to play a tabaxi rogue. So, tell us a little bit about your character, why you chose to be a tabaxi rogue, and what kind of goals you see for your character, what's his background, his name, all that kind of stuff. So, floor is yours.
So I will start with why I picked a rogue. Basically, as I said, that first campaign, I played a wizard that we still talk about to this day a lot. I mean, all those characters from that campaign we talk about a lot. We have played a few other campaigns. I've played a very successful druid that we have. I mean, we laughed at tears at some of the antics that druid put out. Once turned into a squid and bit the hands and eyes off of a Locathah, and then inked him to death, even though the ink didn't really do anything. It
It,
just was
it,
insult to injury.
it was great. It ranked
Um,
up there with the one time Mike changed in when during that first campaign, as we're talking here, our buddy Mike decided to, because he was a druid, he shapeshifted into a bottlenose dolphin and chased down a water a ice dragon,
Frost Dragon.
yeah,
Yeah.
frost dragon underwater for like miles upon miles because he would not give up because that dragon had like 5 hit points left, and so he just kept chasing the thing. Meanwhile, we're in the back going, Mike's gone, it's gone, we're taking all the loot. So we just literally took everything away, and Mike did all the work during that session. It was great. But anyway, sorry,
Actually,
continue.
he was it was a Norwal. He became. We were looking at. I remember we looked in the monster manual
That's
for
what it was, a
forever.
narwhal. Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I just pictured this big toothy dolphin running down a frost dragon that was running for its dear life. So having an imagination and actually painting these pictures in your minds makes this game so much funnier than anything you could experience in a video game. But neither here nor there. So I've played a pretty successful wizard, rogue, or druid. I did play a rogue in another campaign that kind of was short lived, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm looking to have that wizard druid experience with the rogue. Um, they're a lot of fun to play, so I decided, give it another go. It seems like this is going to be a good group of people. Um, so I'm going to roll with it and see what happens. As far as the race goes, that was tricky. Um, like Chris said, uh, there's tons and tons of races you could pick in the setting. Um, I must have bounced them back and forth between 4 or 5 of them. Tieflings, the owl people. I can't even remember what they're called at this point. Goblins. I looked at all of them. The reason I landed on a
I believe it's
Tabaxi,
Owlin is what they're called.
that's what they're called. The reason I finally landed on the Tabaxi was because it just seemed to have the biggest balance of everything I could want. The type rogue I want to play is going to be, a combat thief, um, kind of character. So, they have dark vision, which, I can't imagine without any kind of night vision going into a tavern or going into a magic shop at night and lighting a torch and basically going, "Here I am." I just don't see that going well. So, um, the night vision was big for me. The Tabaxi, you get a great dex bonus. I believe it's dex and charisma, but I was going after the dex specifically. Natural weapons. That's always big for a rogue if you get captured, disarmed. I remember in 3.5, unarmed strike provoked an attack of opportunity in some instances. So I don't know if that's still the case. I think they're called opportunity attacks now, but still familiarizing myself with the rules. But from what I know, I wanted to have that natural weapon. They have a speed boost you can use every so often with your, I believe it's called clever action. You get at third level as a rogue in 5e. Um, let's see what else. They have a climb speed, so if you roll a successful climb check, you can move 20 feet up and down the wall instead of 5, 10 feet at a time. Um, so it just seemed like a good balance. Two natural skills that I was able to put for, like, my rogue is so well rounded as far as skills. I should never have anything to worry about. So that's why I picked the Devoxy and the rogue together. They just seem to complement each other exactly the way I wanted to play.
He
Um,
wants to play like an ass. He's going to sit
yes,
in a tavern like pictured. He's just going to knock cups off things,
that's
i.e.,
exactly
cat
it.
style.
Yep. If anyone, God forbid, anyone in a tavern has their drink sitting too close to a ledge, I'm knocking it off because cat person. It's just the right thing to do. Um, but the name, I was doing some reading on the Tabaxi, and they're tribal by nature, so they usually have some kind of like first thing they saw as a baby kind of thing as their name. Like you'd see like Gray Wolf or Skyhawk or Night Raven or something, like some tribal esque kind of name. So um I picked Smoking Shadow for his name because he's a black tabaxi, like jet black fur. It just seemed to fit, and I thought Smoke sounded cool because they usually do shorten up their names based on what I was reading. So a tabaxi rogue named Smoke just seemed cool, so I went with that. Uh, as far as goals for the character, um, it really boils down to what I want as a player, and his goals kind of aligning up. Just be the best rogue I can possibly be and have some good stories come out of it, which is in line with the Tabaxi lifestyle. Um, if you read the book, they want to be well known and have stories told about them. So the stars just kind of aligned, and that's why I set them up the way I did.
All right.
I think that about sums it up.
Yeah. Does he like? What's your background? Why did you get into adventuring? Why did you get into roguing?
I haven't gotten super far into it yet. The campaign setting we're going to do is kind of like a homebrew kind of thing. So it's the story
Yes,
that
for
we
you
have so
viewers,
far.
for you viewers, John, who I will be interviewing at one point as well, is our dungeon master, and he has a homebrewed setting to basically we're going to a unknown land to chart it in essence for a guild that we belong to. That's kind of how it brings us all together. What's going to be nice about that is it gives a fresh start that we could kind of do a little bit of whatever we want to, but keep it within a structured frame. And with that as well, uh, he's gonna like set everything up and plan everything out for us so that we can kind of keep our own backgrounds. It's we could throw our own backgrounds in there, and he could work off of them if he wants to, but he doesn't have to. So
Which is kind of why I think he's going to be adventuring in the first place. It is a brand new land. He could really make a name for himself a little bit easier there because no one's known in these lands yet. So he can make himself rich and famous rather quickly compared to trying to go into an established city and rogue himself to the top. So all kinds of new opportunities. Um, being the settler in a new place, yeah, that's the fastest way to have a story made about you, um in my opinion at least. So
mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of why he decided to go on this venture and join this guild, was because it was just all it was opportunity that aligned with his sense of purpose.
Yeah. What I like about this, like these adventures, and what kind of is really cool about the 5e edition is it creates you can in essence have your own backgrounds, or you can kind of like random roll them, so that it kind of helps build your character for you. And with that kind of stuff, it also helps determine how your starting packs go, like what items you get, as well as other things like what kind of skills you're proficient in and all. But the background system is really cool because it helps out with that. It kind of helps you if you're new to the game, helps you set up why you're in essence playing and all, and why your character is out there adventuring. So I actually have to work on that with my wife Kristen, who you will also be interviewed at some point because she is also playing this campaign with us. So she
Yeah,
is
first time player.
Yep, she's a first-time player. She's doing the classic of what I did by playing a ranger, which to me, in my opinion, are one of the best classes to play in 3.5. I heard a mixed review about them with 5 edition, or yeah, 5th edition, but I'm playing a warlock this time around because, to be honest, I haven't really ever been the magic caster, soul magic caster in the group before, and that's kind of what I am, and I'm even kind of steering away from that because I can still cast the spells and all that, but I'm still going to be a frontline-ish magic user, so it's going to be kind of interesting. But once I get to my interview, I will explain that to you guys. So, anything you'd like to add?
Just that if anything were to happen to Smoke, a warlock was definitely something I was interested in myself. But much like I wanted to branch out into something different. I haven't done a whole lot of melee classes. So a chance to play a rogue extensively was kind of appealing to me for some. Like I've never played a fighter, despite the fact that my wizard was a frontliner somehow. Um, neither here nor there. Um, I wanted to have that opportunity to get into melee combat and not have to think 3 moves in advance to line up spells and have effects go off uh, the way I have it planned in my head. So Rogue just it was fitting for me. But that said, I am interested in playing Warlock, a couple of the other classes. Um, one of our party members is playing a Paladin, which I've always kind of thought about, but the level restrictions they had in 3.5, or not the level, the alignment, rather, restrictions they had in 3.5 just wasn't appealing to me. I didn't want to have to be lawful good. If I want to go slap a hobo, I think I should have the right.
Well, that's the cool thing, though. I've learned about fifth edition is alignment really doesn't play that much into characters and all that. So you can literally be a chaotic evil paladin. For those of you who haven't played fifth edition, that are jumping into this system from older editions, a lot of it's different in like 3.5, 3.75, which is also Pathfinder. You kind of had to stick to your a lawful good alignment as a paladin, or you'd become like an ex paladin. But with this the newer edition is they kind of nix that and all. Alignments are more geared towards the role playing aspect versus the actual mathematic aspect of it. Because, like in the past, you needed to be your alignment to be able to cast certain things or for certain things to happen. But in this new edition, you don't have to. It's based off of your deity and whatever your class has. So. Uh, like if you wanted to be an evil paladin at some point in life, you could be an evil paladin or a good paladin or a chaotic neutral paladin.
I just
So
kind of want to be a meh
yeah,
paladin.
that's kind of how my character is as a neutral guy. It's gonna
No, if I go Warlock, I'm going full on Lich build, and I want to be the Lich King
uh,
in D&D. I want to be Arthas.
that's I have my own little spin on things here, which during my interview I don't want to take this interview over too much, but that's I'll explain more. So, but all right, sir. Before we call it quits for the evening, because you have a nice, what I see is being recorded as a 26-minute interview. Do you want any add anything else? Any hopeful tips
Tips.
to observing players?
If uh if it's a game you're curious about, if it's a game that you've always like had friends that played but you just didn't think was for you and never thought of giving it a shot, I'd put your biases aside one weekend. Go pick up a set of dice, make a character, and just sit in and see what it's all about. I don't. I think there's this conception around D&D that everyone thinks it's a bunch of four-eyed geeks with acne and living in their mother's basement and never doing much in life other than throwing on a cape and running through the city streets. Like I don't know. There's
Stop
just a
talking about
bad
my childhood.
there's a bad picture painted around people who play Dungeons and Dragons, and there's some big name people who play the game and enjoy the game, and it's not something you need to be embarrassed about
So
just
maybe
because you have a sense of imagination.
some
You
famous
know,
movie actors like somebody named Joe who's married to Sofia Vergara. So yeah, he gets to go home to that every night, and he plays D&D. He plays D&D so much that Wizards of the Coast actually canonized his character and all that. And he's from our local Pittsburgh area. Other famous players, Vin Diesel, he played D&D a lot. He actually accredits a lot of his being able to act based off of that is because he was actually able to get into character a lot easier for the roles he wanted to take. So um, a lot of people use it as an escape from different things. So it's the people that I actually learned and played with, my uncle was the one that taught me, but some of his old
And
friends that we used to play with, they were professional bodybuilders at different times. I think they won different championships. So looks can be deceiving and all that. It's people are allowed to like whatever they want to like. So
exactly. And
don't be
don't
afraid
don't
to like it.
typecast somebody just for liking a game where you actually have to use different sets of skills. Like, yeah, you have to use your imagination, which there's nothing wrong with that. Anyone that has ever written anything or directed a movie, like it's all the same. It's in the same vein. Um, I don't think it's anything to be embarrassed about, and I don't think it's anything to bully somebody about. It's a lot of fun. It's a good chance to bond with your friends, meet new people. I mean, we've had a couple people join sessions with us that we've made friends with and are not playing with us now, but it's just a good chance to meet people, put yourself out there, and show people um, what you can dream up. One of our other players has a knack for, he'll take a class and he'll build it up to be the absolute best that it could possibly be. And he'll read all the books, look at all the feats. This is 3.5, mind you, and he'll build something that's super nasty, and then he rolls ones, and Chris kills the shit out of him on a regular basis.
Double pin him to a tree with a bow.
I'll probably see a lot of that because he
Yeah.
is one of the ones playing with us.
Yeah, you'll all be introduced to him soon. His name is Jordan. So as these interviews go on, check out the YouTube uh, channel. This will be under the session of 0.5. I'm gonna basically splice all these videos together so that people can go back and watch them. But again, thank you for letting me interview you here for 30 minutes. I'm gonna have to set up the interviews with everyone else and all. Hopefully, we're gonna attempt to play this Sunday. I know scheduling's been a little bit difficult and all. Our DM, who flies airplanes, got stuck in Florida
Yeah,
because of the snow in the area here.
stuck in Florida when we have a foot of snow on the ground.
Uh, I heard a lot of him going to Disneyland and stuff like that. So, but yeah. Until next time, guys. Thank you, Evan, for the interview. Um, check us out. Keep watching for the Tabaxi Rogue, um, played by Evan here. If you guys make comments, leave comments, like and follow us. In the YouTube video, I'm going to drop his gamer tags and his stream accounts and just follow him as well. I'm going to do that for all of us.
Not doing anything yet, but
Just
eventually.
yeah. We're going to
It's
be
on the
streaming a
to-do
lot
list.
more. So follow us. We appreciate it. Any likes, pass the word around. I want multiple people to be able to watch this because we've always had fun playing D&D, and I like telling people about it. But it's sometimes it's you have to be there for to understand it. And if you guys are watching this, or if the video's on YouTube, you can actually be there watching it. So again, thank you, Ev. Thank you, world. Everyone have a blessed evening, and I will talk to you all during the next interview. Boom. Hi, guys. I'm Blackout the Reaper. My real name's Chris. I'm going to actually do my little interview for you guys right now. I've interviewed Evan so far. I'm going to be getting into a couple of other interviews with some of the other players, as well as my wife, who is actually joining us for the first time as a D&D player. So, if you could see my little background, we got a little tavern going on. This is our downtime chat room. This is kind of where all the interviews and talking will go forth. So, uh, while I'm here, I'm just gonna, in essence, ask myself the same questions that I asked everyone else. And on the YouTube video, you'll see everything actually spliced together in a row. It'd be very neat, clean cut. So, but I'm Chris. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about want to say the better part of 15ish years. I started right around when I was 14, 15. My uncle, who's actually playing with us as well here, um, he's kind of the one that got us into it. My brother and I would actually go play with him and his a couple of his buddies that he had playing in some campaigns back there. It was 3.0 version, and we sorry, some build up in my throat. We anyway, learned to play one of my very first characters then, and it was actually my very first character when we played 3.5 with my best friend and some of our other buddies. It was a ranger. That was kind of my go-to. I like the ranger, I like the hunter aspect with the animal that you can get as a companion. I always usually picked a wolf, but every once in a while it went different. So I actually think I went with a raptor in that adventure. Can't quite remember because it was so long ago. But I am a seasoned veteran. Um, this bout of playing, we're actually going to be playing with the 5e rules. So I can tell you this truthfully, I don't know how different it is because this version is new to us, but it's definitely different than back then. So this time around, I actually decided to play a warlock. They're a newer race as of 4E, I want to say. Um, let me see what other questions did I ask the group here. But yeah, I decided to play a warlock, a human warlock. Um, the the warlock's pretty cool this time around. It gives you a lot of different aspects that you can play, kind of a front line as well as a mage, kind of at the same moment. So that's kind of why I went with that. One of the reasons I actually got into D&D is it was kind of my outlet. I always like to read. I love to read fantasy books. Drist is one of my favorite characters from the Forgotten Realms series. I actually have a plan to get a tattoo on him, as you can see. I have tattoos all over me. I have chest, leg as well. So I'm working on a sleeve right now. It's going to be my birthday present to myself. But at some point, I plan on getting Dritz and Guinevere somewhere on my body as kind of my ode to my fantasy side and all. Because I'm actually rereading the books on Audible. So it's pretty nice. And what's cool about it all is uh, it's kind of an escape and all. A lot of people in high school and all. I was popular, but not popular at the same time. I kind of ran with all crowds. It was one thing I learned with the school that I went to is I kind of made friends with everyone, so that when one side of my personality got a little bit too much, I can back off and go screw around and do other things with other people. I transferred schools. At one point in my life, halfway through my middle school, and also it was kind of like when I transferred over, I made new friends here, and I still kept in touch with my old friends. The old friends are actually going to be the ones that are playing with us on D&D here on the stream and all. But like I said, one of the main reasons I got into Dungeons and Dragons was kind of an escape. A lot of kids went out with drinking, do drugs, or do other things. And I did go out and have fun, went to parties and stuff, but a lot of the times, 9 times out of 10, I would actually go and play D&D because it was kind of my world to where when shit went bad in my life, I can run away to and kind of let the dice decide how I would handle situations versus me have to think about it. So, and it kind of stuck. I got a couple of my friends into it. We played almost all the time. So it was my escape. And in truth, with dealing with depression and anxiety issues kind of my whole life, it's helped out a lot and all. So if you're watching this and you're new to Dungeons and Dragons, use this as an escape. It's a good medium between how you need to deal with your life as well as being able to accept what's going on and all. So that's kind of what it did for me. So um, to continue, we'll go into my character. My character here is a human warlock. Again, the reason I went with human, boom, right there. So you see his little picture on the side here. Uh, he's a human warlock, and in 5e, warlocks are. I'm using this loosely. They're kind of like clerics and paladins and all, to where you have to have a patron is what the warlock aspect is. But like how a cleric gets a deity, and that's how they get all their magic and powers from. A warlock, in essence, sells their essence to a patron, who in return gives them their powers, their spells and stuff, and all. And it's each patron gives different attributes. Well, in the original 5e player's handbook, there's only 3 to choose from, and then they came out with a bunch of other ones that you could choose from. One of the sites that I will actually link below in the YouTube video is called naturalcrit.com. They have a homebrew section. My DM John was really willing and really nice, and he looked through everything. And I even went on Reddit and posted the patron that I actually homebrewed for myself, and got a lot of aspects and pointers from other people and opinions. So I was able to pull things away and add things as needed, and even spell check, because I know big words, but I'm horrible at spelling. So, but the patron that I actually homebrewed was the Reaper, the Grim Reaper. As you can tell by my name, Blackout the Reaper. I have an affinity for death and the Grim Reaper and stuff. I'm a cosplayer slash like a scare actor. I work at a local amusement park every Halloween. For the whole month, we scare. Evan's a scare actor with me, but my part of my thing is I love death. I love the Grim Reaper. I think he's a cool thing. He's not evil, and a lot of people think he's evil, and that's the thing. And he comes off very intimidating, but he's just the balance keeper. He's the in between. He takes the lives, the souls of the living, and ferries them on to the afterlife. That's literally all he does. Is he comes and takes you on to the next world. Whether you think it's your time or not, that's up to you. So that's where he might come off as evil. But here he's just claiming your soul to take you on to the next plane of existence. Well, my patron is the Reaper, and he gives me a lot of attributes. And as you see and as you watch as we play, different aspects of the Reaper will come off and kind of shine in my guy. Like part of the patron at the first level is I have as a warlock. Warlocks are kind of more on the mage side, but what's nice about the patron of the Reaper, it kind of gives me the aspect of being a lightly armored fighter. So in nerd terms, I'll be more so a DPS player, a frontline DPS player versus an actual background support character throwing spells, which I can still do, and I do have access to some cool kind of clericy spells, but in the aspect of I have a big scythe that it's a war scythe that I can actually swing at people and do damage, and then cast spells as I need to and all that kind of stuff. So, and what's cool about the warlock is you get the eldritch invocations. Right now my character only has leather armor since he's first level, but after as soon as I reach second level, I'm going to sell that armor because I get a cool invocation called shadow armor, which raises my dexterity to 3 or 13, and then I have a +4 in dexterity, so my AC will be 19 almost. So I think it's the I want to say 3 and then 4, yeah, 17. But then I plan on getting a shield too, so I'll have the 19 and all. And that's a pretty good armor class right now in the 5e rolls. So I'll be pretty well armored. I have a decent constitution, so my hit points will be up there pretty nice. So what's nice about him is he can take a beating, he could dish it out as needed. He's not overly strong. I actually only have a 14 in strength, so my damage is 2, but he could still dish it out, and he could be a mage when needed and a DPS frontliner when needed. So that's kind of why I did it. He's a balanced power, you know. So the reason I created him was I have an ongoing theory in my head of trying to make my Reaper be a real person and like manifest him. So I created this guy here. His name's Severin Saurin. It's a name that I've created for a couple of other characters in the past. Whenever we were playing and we played 3.75, also known as Pathfinder, I played a fighter there who used the scythe as well. His name was Severin, and just the kind of I kind of wanted to build him in a proper aspect, and with the warlock and with the help of the DM and making my patron here, I was able to incorporate what I felt the best aspect would be for this character. I've had this guy mentally brewing for quite some time, so just stay tuned. You'll see some pretty cool moves from him, and a lot of the aspects of the Reaper coming out through him. So, but anyway, to continue, now you know why I chose to play said character, but his background. He John, who's the dungeon master, and I talked, and I gave him a little bit insight. Basically, my character Severn was just a plain run-of-the-mill warlock, a low-level guy who was traveling with a group of people, and during his travels, they were ambushed at night, and most of his group was murdered. As he was being murdered, they noticed that the band of people that were killing them was actually part of a lich group, and the lich, I don't really have that part fleshed out to why the lich had this group stealing souls, but the group that was hunting people down to, in essence, take their souls, took murdered the whole group of adventurers that he was with, took their souls, and then took Severn's soul as well. Well, upon that, while Severn met the Reaper and was going on to the next plane, struck up a deal, and with a pact of blood, basically slit the hand, did the whole shake, spit in the hand, all that kind of stuff. Um, with a pact to the Reaper, made the Reaper in essence his deity, his patron, his the one he basically owes everything to, and that's a deal that no one knows what exactly went on and why uh, the Reaper accepted it and why what exactly Severn sold off to do. However, Severn survived because of that. So he's come back as a warlock of the Reaper. His main soul, his main goal, and his soul still intact is to, in essence, gain vengeance on the people trying to take his soul. So now he's actually hunting down the Lich, trying to get more experience, get stronger, so that he can, in essence, reverse it, the role, and take the soul of the Lich, who's in essence trying to take his soul. So, and if anybody knows anything about liches, they keep their souls locked up somewhere else. So it's not really in their body. But so this Reaper is going after the soul of a guy who took his own soul and hid it away. So um, part of what I was thinking is the Reaper, in essence, wants that soul kind of like as a okay, your soul's here, but if I can claim the soul of this lich and take it into the afterlife to fix the balance of in nature, then okay, your minuscule soul here is perfectly fine as if you complete it. If you die, I'm just back here. I'm gonna take you to the next world anyway. So here I am. So, um, but that's pretty much his shtick. Is he's on a hunt for vengeance. He's a very stoic character. He he's not evil. Part of the thing I made with the patron is the alignment. No matter what you were, evil, good, it kind of pushes you towards true neutral because death is the balance of life. So you are the first little aspect of the warlock is that you get. I titled the balanced path, and that's because you're kind of taking on essence of the Reaper himself. I gave him dark vision, a little bit better than normal, but not as good as the best. So I only gave him 90-foot vision, dark vision. He has some proficiencies with like religion. He has a few cantrips that he gains naturally, like the death kneel and all, where he spare the dying, different same spell, different styles. But basically, if you're dying, he could stop you from dying as if he can touch you and cast a spell at the same time. So he's kind of just slowly starting eking into that aspect. As it goes on, he'll get different things like the aspect of the Reaper and all that, where like he's shrouded in darkness, and he has the ability to claim souls himself and use those to either heal himself or dish out more damage on an attack hit. And of course, he has to claim it beforehand. I can put a link down below and show you guys exactly what's all part of this balance path. I'll even post it in the after this video so that you can actually see what's going on. So stay tuned and watch the YouTube video. But he at 14th level, he can choose it's called the pale steed, or the aspect of death. He gains wings and gains a flying speed as long as he's attuned, with Death's Visage. That's what it was called, Death's Visage. When he's in that mode, he can gain wings for an hour of flying, and or he can do the Pale Steed, which is the Pale Steed that Death rode in on in the Revelations. So he can gain basically a undead warhorse mount, that has a cool little bit of attributes to it as well. And then at 14th level, this is kind of like the big guns, is he can rend souls. Basically, the first part, which is Death Visage, what he would do is he'd have to kill a character, and then upon killing it, he'd have to make the attempt to take the soul. But with this one, he can claim the souls of living people and actually pull the soul out of somebody. So they have to make a DC save against his charisma and all that. And if they fail it, they take a massive amount of damage, and their soul is pulled from their body. And then each round after that, they're kind of in a daze where, like if you seen Doctor Strange, how he pushes people's bodies, their soul from their body, and they're like hovering there, and their body's still standing there. That's kind of what happens. And every round after, they have to make an attempt to get back in their body, and they just keep making an attempt each round and take damage each round until they're dead or back in their body. So, in which turn he can claim the soul then as well for his soul reservoir. So again, I'll post all this stuff in the Discord or YouTube video section below, as well as at the end of this video, so that you can watch and all. So, but truthfully, that's pretty much it about my character, about my time with D&D. I'm going to be the one streaming all of this, so please like, follow, watch the streams when we get actually into playing. We're hopefully going to be playing this coming Sunday, starting off the new session in the new year. These videos will be part of the 0.5 session, which is kind of the introduction to D&D and introduction to our campaign and introduction to our setup. So again, my character Severance Alrin, a human warlock. One thing I did forget to add with this variant, because in the 5e rules, with humans, each one of their ability scores you can choose to add points into, or you could take a variant version, which is 2 skills of attributes of your choice, get +1 into, and then you get a feat. I chose the variant version and took the points in both charisma due to the warlock and strength, because I wanted to boost my strength up from a 13, which is what I rolled, to the 14. And then the feat that I took was alert, which gives me a +5 to the initiative rolls, and I can't be considered like snuck up on and stuff like that. So which is kind of cool. So it has other attributes, which is nice, but I mainly took it for that initiative, which puts my initiative right now, due to my dexterity, at a +9. So for the most part, I'm going to be going first most of the time, unless I roll really bad. So but again, please stay tuned. Hopefully this coming Sunday, we're going to be playing the session 1. And again, I appreciate everybody tuning in, watching in. Please like, please follow, please leave any comments that you can down below, or anywhere, whatever this is broadcasting on. Tell us what we could do better. Tell us what we can do differently. And again, everyone have a blessed evening, and please stay tuned. And I will be playing this character pretty well. So again, thank you. And welcome to your interview here. Thank you for joining me for the interview section of our YouTube video here for the 0.5 session. Please tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Kristen, and I'm Christopher's wife. And this is my first time playing D&D.
She is Mrs. Blackout the Reaper, everyone.
Yes.
She is coming over to the dark side, the nerd side. Yes.
Yep.
What got you into wanting to play D&D with us?
Just watching you and your friends play for many hours at a time. I just wanted to see what it was like. It's always sounded interesting, and I wanted to do something with you.
Spend more quality time with your loved one, me.
Yes.
That's awesome. All right, I won't badger you anymore about uh, some more personal information or anything like that. So, the world doesn't need to know that much more. The world just needs to watch us play.
Yep.
So, all right, I'll go into the next section here then. Please tell us about your character.
Well, my character's name is Rin, and she is a elfin ranger.
Why did you pick to be an Elven Ranger this time around?
Well, this is the first time around, so I really
That is
just
true.
thought that it just seemed to be the best fit for me. I understood it, and I just thought it would kind of be something I could just easily pick up.
Rangers are a pretty good class to start off with. It was actually my first class whenever I played D&D with Bill back in the day. It's I'm not saying it's a beginner's class, but it's easier to deal with because it gives you a little bit of like a little splash of everything. You get your melee
Right.
attacks, your more so frontline attacks, stuff like that, your ranged attacks. Plus, it
Mhm.
gives you the ability to dabble a little bit in magic and all that. And I remember whenever I first did it, one of the main reasons that sold me on the ranger aspect was the fact that you got an animal companion, which we're only first level right now, but you should be getting an animal companion, I believe, in the next 2 levels. I have to recheck that, but it's a good beginner class. So, but it can be a badass class, let alone for even the most veteran player in D&D. So, you chose wisely. Elves in this as well are a pretty solid race to stick with and all. So you
Mhm.
get a lot of ability modifiers and some decent aspects like dark vision and whatnot with the 5e rolls. So you did a pretty good job here. So um, tell us about Rin. Like why is she adventuring?
Well, she is just naturally adventurous and wants to just get out and see the world for the sake of adventuring and just for the experience, just get better at her own skills and make a name for herself.
All right, that's good. Though you don't need a big elaborate background story and all that. So, literally, sometimes people just want to get out of the mundane of their lives and go and see what the great world has to offer. What's nice about our campaign that we're in is it's a homebrew campaign by John, and it's like he basically sent us off to this new world. We're kind of like the pilgrims coming over and charting new territories and uh, checking out this new space and all. And so you have the ability to make a name for yourself and all. You don't have to go too elaborate into a background. So everybody else who's a first time watcher of this and first
Yeah.
time like player with D&D, you can have the most elaborate background that you want, or you can have something very plain and simple. Whatever you think that your character would want to do, and it leads you to the point of us playing. Um, so you told us why you have her adventuring, but like, what are her goals? Is there anything specific that you'd like for her to accomplish?
Well, she's very much like me, I guess, in, my life. She very much wants to just like engage in the world and build, further relationships. Just kind of like step out of her comfort zone, which is something um if you want to get like, personal about it, it's something like I'm not good at, and so kind of mm, more so like living through my character, just kind of step out of her comfort zone. Maybe that will help me a lot. I don't know. And, just kind of get better at her own skills. Like, specifically, shooting her longbow.
See, that brings up a funny
Maybe
point.
that's
I know I've talked in a couple of the other interviews, and I know I keep reiterating it for you viewers. Like, what's cool about Dungeons and Dragons is you don't need to uh, like be a nerd to play the game. You know, I believe in my interview with Evan, we talk about that. Everyone has different reasons for wanting to play, and one of the major reasons that I started playing is because I was mixed in with the cool crowd and the nerdy crowd and the normal crowd. I kind of made friends with everyone. But what was
mm,
nice to escape from the real world is I would immerse myself into this world, the world, the fantasy world. It's a good way that it helped me to manage my depression and anxiety because I can escape from the horrors of this world and go into a world that I can actually battle those horrors and
yeah,
do something about it and all. And it actually, in the end, alleviated my stress a lot of the time because it gave me something to look forward to. It gave me something to release my angst with the world and all that. So it helped me
yeah,
step out of my comfort zone. And I've been playing for some 16 years now. So it definitely does that. And so you are on the right track with that. So very
yeah.
good.
I mean, we all have those things, and I think it's just a matter of finding a good way to, finding a good outlet. And this is, I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but it seems like it's a pretty good place to be for that.
Yeah. And you make a lot of everlasting friends too. So a lot of my best friends play D&D. My wife now is playing D&D with me. So, and our dungeon master John, he's actually new to our group. I found him through a Facebook group because the group of friends that we had that play, we always wanted to play together for once. And so since we got back into it, and now that we're also teaching you how to play, um, it seems kind of like odd, but I found him on Facebook Dungeons and Dragons group, and he actually has just moved in the area, and he's a really cool guy. We've been talking for almost like a month and a half now, getting ready to set this up, and in truth, I think he's going to become a lifelong friend for us. So it's always great to make friends in the most unique ways. So, and this is definitely one of them. So,
Yes.
all right. Um, well, thank you for doing the interview. Before we call it quits here, do you have anything else you would like to add to say to the viewers, or do you have anything you'd like to say to anybody who's new to Dungeons Dragons, like your perspective? You already played one session, so
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I had no idea what to expect. And I know that there's like all kinds of shows out there that reference D&D and they put it in different lights and you don't really know how something's going to go until you try it. I really liked my first session. I felt like at least sitting and playing for the first time, I personally felt like there should have been a right answer to like what my character like should do next, but in reality there's really not. And I think now knowing that to go further, just kind of can do whatever you want. And I'm not good with not having structure and someone telling me what to do, or it's like you could just do anything, and I wasn't prepared for that, but now that I am, it's pretty exciting. I think the best advice, I mean, I only have one session, but the best advice I can give is you should just try it.
that's smart. Pick up the books, start reading, look online.
Mhm.
If you can't find anyone of your friends that wants to play, check out the Dungeons and Dragons Facebook page to your local area, or check out a local hobby store. So, all right. Thank you, my love. Thank you for doing this, and the
Oh,
rest of
I am the sponsor, one of the
yes,
sponsors of this show,
yep,
and yeah.
yep.
So before you go, check out my Etsy shop under C's Designs in case anyone's looking for anything, any gifts for anyone or special orders.
There will
Let me
be,
know.
there are links all over the YouTube videos
Mhm.
and all over the stream channel and whatnot. So what's nice is if you would like to actually donate to the cause here and get something in return, you could use code BTR15 and you get
Yeah.
15% off your order, just to make something nice for yourselves, make it a little bit cheaper. Plus, all
Mhm.
the donations and proceeds go to us, obviously, and they help us out, and we really do appreciate that. So. All right. Everyone have a blessed evening, and I love you, dear.
All right.
Hello, Billiam. How are you this evening?
Doing good.
Thank you for joining us for our interview section of the YouTube videos slash streaming that we're doing.
Happy to be here.
So, would you like to do a little bit of introduction on yourself, your name, how long you've been playing Dungeons and Dragons?
Uh, Bill, probably been since 1984, I want to say. Um, got started. I want to say my older brother that got me started. His friend, he played with his friends, wanted to join, but I mean, we're only a year and a half apart. But some of his friends didn't want the little brother playing, so I checked with some of my friends to see if they were interested, and they were. So we went to the hobby store. That's where they actually sold the books at that time, and got the basic box set, the old red box set. That was like version 1, I think. Maybe it was version 2, and been playing since then.
All right. Yeah, for the viewers watching and listening, this is actually my uncle. He's the one that actually got me into playing, my brother and I. We played with him and a bunch of his buddies, so he actually taught us the same way that Christian's going to get taught, trial by fire. We did a little bit of research on our own, but it's kind of it's the aspect of the game is to get thrown in there and kind of learn as you go and all. And what's nice about the D&D community is a lot of people are like willing to show how the game's played. It's not a very like tight knit community, or it is a tight knit community, but it's not a very closed off community and all. So if you ever want to learn how to play, just look at your local hobby stores, or even check on Facebook or Reddit. There's always people willing to teach. So
Absolutely, that's one of the things. I was watching Kristen's interview and had put in the chat, and there the other players are almost always willing to help out a new player learn the ropes. And as far as everything else, just rule number 1: have fun and enjoy yourself. If you can't follow that rule, my advice is don't play. I mean, it's all for fun.
yeah, even if you're not rolling like a good night, sometimes
That's fun. I mean,
yeah,
actually, that turns out
sometimes
to
the
be real
most
fun sometimes.
exactly. Sometimes the most fun happens whenever those ones are rolling left and right. Jordan, sorry, you'll get the Jordan's interview soon enough, everyone, and
I have
you'll
97 more boards.
yeah. So
Sorry, that was from Gamers
yeah,
video.
another funny video that everyone should look up, Rise of the Dorkness, and all. It's a good video, and it shows a aspect of playing dice and the role playing aspect, kind of turned into a movie. It's funny, and it's how the game is meant to play. Every once in a while, you get those kind of people out there who are hardcore. You have to play by the rules, but trust us, and as you'll watch, you'll understand. I explained this to Kristen actually last night. Is if somebody gives you this long elven name, and blah 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 Mark, his name's going to be Mark forever.
Mhm.
No matter what it is, his name will be Mark forever. So, what I think one of your guys we called Tin Cup because his name was like Tin something along the way. I forget, but it's one of those
Probably
aspects.
one of my NPCs or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly. So it's one of those games that you just have fun with it. So it's a good escape from the real world. So all right. So you've explained how long you've played and why do you play D&D? What's your reasoning for playing D&D?
Getting together with friends and just having fun, really. I mean, not much other reason than that to
No,
do it.
it's understandable. I put in my interview that I did earlier today. I basically explained that like it was an escape for me, and I'll deal with depression, anxiety. You get the escape from the monotonous real world, and
Yeah, that's a benefit of it, yes.
yeah. So that's kind of why I played. So what why I play. But it's a lot of fun. You get to hang out with friends in this current COVID day and age with the way technology runs that we're able to play online. It's nice, so we can still
Yeah.
hang out as a group, but experience things. So, all right, now about your character. You are going to be playing Zavon, the Changeling Bard, which
Correct.
no one
But
knows that he's a
oh,
changeling.
correct. The others only know me as a male human.
Yes. So explain to us why you wanted to be a changeling and why you wanted to be a bard.
Well, the changeling, I like the aspect of being able to change identities. That's something that I was going to do anyway with a charlatan background with changing disguises. The changing just makes it perfect. Um, and the bard, it started a bard in the prior campaign. This was before COVID, and then COVID hit. We had just gotten started, and I never got to play much of that character. So I missed doing the bard. I'm typically a magic user, wizard or sorcerer. I've done a lot of those, and I've always wanted to try the bard.
So you're just playing something
That was
different.
that was my first opportunity to do it was the prior campaign, but like I said, that fell through with COVID and everything else going on. We just haven't been able to get together until now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's what cool thing about the game too is step out of your comfort zone. You'll find the classes and the races that you're comfortable playing and all that, and that's fine in D&D. But as you get more characters going, it's cool to branch off and learn a new character. Like I said with Kristen's interview, she's playing a ranger, which was my first character because I loved it. I loved the aspect of having an animal companion and all that. But I remember I shifted off into playing clerics too. Snow was one of my greatest creations. At one point, I ran around a jail naked, stabbing people and all. I had an orphanage that
Housekeeping.
yeah, at an orphanage making my brew because my deity was Caden Kalen, who was a drunken god. So it's branch off, and you could always
In all
add your.
fairness, it wasn't child labor. He liberated the orphanage. I was DM for that campaign.
Eh, regardless, they were making my ale that I sold. But yeah, it's just have creativity with the character, no matter what aspect he comes from. So, but So as you were saying with the charlatan background and with Zavid here, anything like you want to go into, like why is he adventuring? What's his role in the world? What's he seeking? What are his goals?
Don't have much on the goals or the overall aspect. Part of the background trait is he did cross somebody. I haven't fleshed anything out. This is just from the basic player's handbook list of different aspects. But he crossed somebody and in kind of running from them to prevent him from hurting himself or any of his friends.
So he's on the run.
Eh, he's hiding. He's not on the run. I mean, it's going to be hard for whoever to find him without any kind of uh, sorceress or divine means.
Eh,
I mean, because they honestly, he's a changeling. I mean,
yeah,
he can change his appearance at will.
which to me seems like a way OP aspect to a character, but
Well, there are uh, um, restrictions. It doesn't change your equipment or anything. So if you can't you stay within the same size creature. So I can't go small, I can't go large. But if I go like fatter or skinnier or whatever, my clothes are not going to change. So I have to have more outfits there.
yeah, well,
Stuff like that. I mean, it's nothing more than a hat of disguise or a disguise kit, really.
true, true.
It's more convenient and more efficient in that it does give you abilities or bonus rather to to the bluff itself advantage.
Oh, nice, nice. Nice. All right. Well, there's.
Like I can see him. Some of my plans. I'm sure John's going to see this, but some of my plans are to cause some mischief.
Yes.
You know,
You and Ev
we'll
already
see how
talked
that
about this.
happens. Yeah,
So
we'll see what comes of that.
this, stay tuned because this is going to get quite interesting. So, all right. Before we call it quits here, anything else you would like to add?
Not really, other than what you already had mentioned. If you are interested in playing, it's really easy. Just look at your local hobby stores. There's usually groups there. Look online. There's usually groups there that are willing to add a new player, and most people are patient and have fun.
All right. Awesome. Well, this wraps up Bill's portion of his interviews. Again, this will be on the zero point 0.5 session setup where I originally will be going into some of the rules of Dungeons and Dragons, as well as doing this little interview section. And then after that, I'll be posting the very first video of the very first session, which we'll be playing this Sunday. So, everyone, take care. Have a blessed evening. Thank you, Bill, for joining us and giving us your little intake on everything.
Yeah, have a good one, everyone.
All right. My name is Jordan Stahl, and I'm playing D&D with my buddies for since I was in 10th grade, so 16, like 18 years.
All right. Cool. And what got you into playing D&D?
Kind of just gave it a shot, and after the first session, I thought like the concept and execution was pretty cool, and like there was no like computer whatsoever. Like it wasn't a video game at all. Like it was just something that was set up, and you had to like get familiar with and get to learn. And just some of the mathematical combos that can come up, it's just fun to imagine and think about. And then the comedy aspect behind when you roll like a 20 or a 1 just kind of adds a little flavor to it, if that makes sense.
In your aspect, more so the one.
Well, I mean, like, it wouldn't be the game it is without a critical miss.
Yeah,
And like sometimes it's like one like that just pisses you off for like 2 days, and then sometimes it's just the one where it's like oh, that's funny again. Mostly they're funny. Just every once in a while you get that one where it's like, man, that ruined my night.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I kind of like the ones because they add a realism aspect to it all. That basically not everyone's perfect, and even your character is not perfect. And like you just said, it kind of adds a fun aspect to it and all. I know we've both played with some people in the past who would like fudge their dice to make themselves look like they can go from here to the moon, fight Godzilla, and come back in one round. And it's like, God, knock it off. Fail once in a while. It makes the concept interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So,
My favorite thing about like say you're like wielding a weapon or something like that, and you roll a 1. It's like basically where you look at your friends, and it's like it's a game of roulette. Them and you're pulling the trigger. Like it's like, all right, hey, look out! Like
one of you have this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, tell us about your character. What's his name? What class is he?
It's Tyrus Hammerfall. He's a paladin, and he's a half elf. And
Boom.
he's. Oh, what's up?
No, I said boom. I have the picture up here in the video. It shows your concept for your character, the one you saw before. You'll see it in the whenever we replay these videos. So.
Okay.
So, but yeah, sorry. Continue.
Anyway, he's whenever I was building the character, it said choose the noble background, but my guy's an orphan, so you can't really have orphan and noble at the same time. I mean, like somebody who is orphan, like your parents were killed, that's one thing, but like I wanted to do somebody that came up like without any real roots whatsoever. But so as a compromise, I chose the folk hero background. So it's like I was adopted by the Church of Onatar, and I became well known among crafters and those who worship Onatar. And I basically was raised by the church and adamant like religious smith folk, where I learned how to do smithing, and eventually landed
the ability to squire other paladins because I was able to repair their armor and stuff like that, and keep it cheap and keep it efficient. And through squiring other paladins is where I learned the like some of the skills. And but through his own natural talent, he was able to figure out stuff like divine sense and the lower level stuff. And
Can I get back on?
he just reached 30 years of age, and now it's like nobody wants a 30-year-old squire anymore. Aaron, hold on a second. I know you can't fit. There, right there. But anyway, nobody wants a 30-year-old squire who's like capable of doing things for himself. But like I said, he doesn't have any noble background or noble blood or anything like that. So basically, he has to do it the old-fashioned way. Like he has to become a lord somehow, like claim lordship over lands or something like that. And one of the reasons why he decided to come on this trip was because it's like an unknown new place, and that's what like was described to me as a person and as a character. Like if that's what he heard, like it was just a place good for resources and stuff like that. And one of the things is he's actually like he's kind of afraid from where he just landed, like naturally, like like the undead and stuff like that. And, but anyway,
I need that.
he's looking at it like it's an opportunity, and he's looking forward to building up the town and like solving the problems and actually getting some work done. Because unless like the campaign and his destiny carries him elsewhere, he wants to become like knighted, I guess you could say, like someone who became noble from nothing. And like that's one of the things he's kind of interested in this current place, land, and time that he's in. He's like kind of looking at it like, okay, if we can manage to defeat the source of this like incoming evil like crap stuff, then maybe we can get it up and running. And the fact that like, I mean, we have yet to actually run into any like seriously more powerful authority figure. So it's like maybe try and claim lordship over the operations going on here.
Yeah, I was just about to say you want to kind of gain a lordship. So this is basically what you're going into. My next question was the like why is he adventuring and what are his goals? And as you're explaining, he wants to gain a lordship, wants to kind of make a name for himself and slate a piece of himself in history. Is what it sounds like.
Daddy, I got the poo. I dropped the poo.
You dropped a penny. It's not.
I'm just pretending.
You tell she's my kid.
Everyone an aspiring D&D player right there.
Anyway, well, one of the things he's adventuring for is because like he believes his God speaks to him in his dreams and stuff like that. And he had a dream where he was on a flying ship with his own forge, and he was with cohorts, but he could only see like a projection of them. He couldn't make out any details of who or what they were. It was just basically like in a dream state. He knew people were there, but he couldn't see who they were.
I got the money.
And he's being led down a path.
Yeah. Well, on the path.
I'd like to make the equivalent of a like Artificer's wagon that they work with constantly while they're trying.
Stop! I don't like that.
I want to basically get to that point and then upgrade it to a flying ship.
Yucky.
Because I do want to use this character to make some pretty cool stuff, mundane and magical. And I spec'd him so, like, because it said in the book that you need knowledge arcana, or just the arcana skill to be able to make magical items. So I have arcana and smithing. And I was thinking about using it to make a couple of cool things. If it's not too difficult or too time consuming.
Nice.
I mean, like, like it does it in like gold increments, so many gold per day. So if you're making something that's going to cost well over 100,000 gold, like that's what your character's doing for the rest of his life. Like,
yeah,
just working pretty
I
much.
know. I kind of want to get in the profession as we were talking the other day with John in the group chat. I kind of want to get into like a brewing master in essence to kind of make healing potions out of like a ale and stuff, just to kind of sell and / keep for us as a group. So.
Falcon literally did exactly that. He practiced alchemy and added it to his bar.
Which I'm curious if that's what it's going to be under, is alchemy. I know we still got to talk to John during the next session and go through everything. So, all right.
I mean, there might be a brewer profession or not, but yeah, basically lordship and the flying ship forge. But he believes his destiny is about creating out of stuff that's like decayed or broken, like rejuvenating through craft
Yeah,
or
reborn.
action.
Nice. That's honorable.
And because the paladin always kind of annoyed me with like the goody two shoes knight in shining armor scenario, which is kind of why I opted for the folklore background instead of the noble background.
Well, what's nice about the 5e edition is the alignment aspect really doesn't play into your paladin. So, because there's evil paladins, there's neutral paladins, there's good paladins. It's basically more so you just have a dedication to your deity and performing for said deity. So,
And it also reminds me, does your character like have any like actual gold, or did he just get what we got paid?
what we just got paid, I had some gold from selling some of these starter items I got. Warlocks, it's weird because warlocks actually start off with no tools whatsoever and no starting gold whatsoever.
All right.
If you choose to go the base package route, like whatever the player handbook says, you could do the coin buy system, but I think it's a random set of gold. I didn't look into that because I just went with the starting pack for the most part.
Well, I had an idea because what was it, holy water? I was reading up on the different ways to make it, and there's like no way around the 25 gold.
Yeah.
And I actually came up with a different solution. Like caltropes and ball bearings.
Yeah.
I wanted to take and you also know how oil comes in a flask.
Yeah.
Well, think bigger than a flask, and you get to a ceramic jug.
You don't do it. I need all the way because of pennies.
All right, I'll fix it. Grab it quick. But you know that video where the professor is talking about, like, he's doing a philosophy lesson and he puts the golf balls in the jar and then puts the pebbles in around the golf balls and then puts the sand in the pebbles?
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of use that concept and put the caltropes in the jug first, then pour the ball bearings in the jug with the caltropes, and so that way they fall around down in and take up the space between it. And then take a flask of oil and dump it into the jug. And then basically you have like a 3-in-1 grenade.
I wonder how that would work.
Well, if John's willing to work with me on it, because I mean, like, it's not that much of a far-fetched thing. Like, I'm not trying to duplicate a spell without casting it or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more of a mechanical / science aspect versus magic.
But basically what I was thinking about was trying to get a jug full of caltropes, ball bearings, and oil, and on the lid of it, put the material for making torches, so that way you can light it and it'll burn for like a half hour, and then you could eventually whip it at an enemy. And like, say it's an undead, you could whip the jug at the undead, and because it's an improvised thrown weapon, it does a D4 damage, and then he has to make 2 dex saves, DC 15 and DC 10, and that's all instantaneous. So like, basically he'd be getting hit with caltropes, which do minimal damage but hinder movement, and ball bearings, which have a pretty low dex save, but if they fail it, they fall prone. And so basically I'm trying to create attacks of opportunity because my character really can't take too many different actions. Like, if I have an action, I have to use it for something creative, because the only opportunity attacks or the only bonus action I can take is if I'm wielding two weapons, then I can use the 2-weapon bonus action. But I need to try and find a way to activate my character's bonus attack and opportunity attack. So I was thinking using the like little jug shrapnel bomb idea as a way of keeping characters from being able to attack too many times in a round without some hurdles in the way. So that way they're rolling the dice against me more than toward me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's actually really smart. That's that's also the creative part of your character with your deity and all, being like the engineer type. So I like it a lot.
Well, on the bright side, caltropes, 1 gold, ball bearings, 1 gold, oil, 5 silver, and like, basically when I added it up, it comes to like 2.64 gold per bomb, whereas the the holy water is 25 gold per vial, which is 2d6. Which is nice, but like,
Yeah.
I'd rather have something that boosts me up, because like, say if I were to throw the vial and miss, we just wasted a vial and a lot of resources. Whereas with this thing, it's like, okay, you missed, there's another guy coming behind him, or you can like kind of bully him over there, or even just fight him over there or coax him over there, especially if it's an undead.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, like, or you could just not light it and throw it and then light it whenever it's convenient, like set a trap. But yeah, basically, I'm trying to use this character as kind of like, you could say, like kind of like a Batman type instead of a knight in shining armor type.
No, yeah, I get that. I get that. So you want to be helpful, but kind of do so nonchalantly. Like you're not seeking the credit for it, but you're still doing it anyway because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, kind of.
So I like it. All right.
Oh, and sorry for laughing when you died the other day, but like I have done that with casters so many times.
No, it's
like I kind of just played it off like, no, I love watching Chris die, which I mean, kind of I do. It was more like when Loki watched Thor get slammed off the ground by Hulk, and he was like, "Oh, it fails." Like that's kind of where the giggling came from.
No. I was laughing myself too. So I'm currently at a low level. It's a delicate balance with myself right now, but I'm kind of balancing a frontline warrior mixed with a mage. The more the aspects get of the Reaper for my warlock. Patron there. The higher I get, the better I'll be at doing stuff, and I'll be better at being frontline. So it just depends. I, in essence, just need to suck it up for at least till second level. So I'm gonna be a little bit squishy at the beginning, but as soon as I get stronger, I'll be badass. So
I get that. Like, I've done the same thing that happened to you, and that's kind of what I was smirking at when I first said it. Because like whenever you ran up in front of me, I was like, "Oh, dude, like between level 1 and 4, you can't do that if you cast spells already. Like at level 1, you get spells, you gotta back up." Because I did that with Marcus, I did that with Funkin, I did that with Sanction, the artificer I made.
I mean,
every time I'm like, you know what?
Hit points is pretty nice and all that, but my issue is warlocks only have proficiency in light armor, and at that I only have a leather armor, which gives me an AC of 15.
Look at broccoli.
What's cool is next level I get to cast Eldritch Invocations, which basically are like at-will spells. I get like 2 of them. And one of them is called Armor of Shadows, and I can basically cast mage armor on myself at will. So as long as I'm wearing no armor, which would in turn raise that plus the dexterity would raise my AC to 17. So I'll instantly get that. So I just need to get a shield, and I'll be fine.
Do you have shield proficiency?
No, I need to get it.
Pulling me.
Well, one of the things I was thinking about trying to do with this character was something I always wanted to do. Like, I wanted to have somebody work with me with another one of my crafters. Because I always made a crafter that was magic based, so I could craft magic stuff. And the paladin is, but like Funkin was a wizard, and it's like, hey, I can use a dagger and a club and a dart. Like, like nobody really needs that, but since I'm a paladin, I wanted to do something kind of quirky, like make a shield that grants shield proficiency. Like anybody can pick it up and just start using it.
If John will allow it, that'd be freaking awesome. I'll take you up on that offer. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll be in the middle of a battle in the field, and I'll be like, "Yes, shield," and it like crumbles.
And or like the same thing, like with a halberd or with a greatsword, like just craft a greatsword that has greatsword proficiency. Like it's a proficiency. It's not a magic like effect.
No, yeah, you're not wrong. It's just a keen and like really good shield, so that it's useful. So nice. Yeah, I'll definitely take you up on that offer whenever that comes up.
Hopefully, well, alrighty.
Yeah.
So we good then?
I was gonna say, before we conclude here, is there any additional thing you wanted to add about Tyrus. I see the hamster wheel going.
Well, I wanted to do the background on here, and I'm pretty much trying to think if I missed anything. And oh yeah, something I found out when I looked in the player's handbook, it's under trinkets. It said every player gets a trinket when you create a character. And I was going to work that in with my background. He carries a coin with an unknown symbol on it from some distant land or realm or something like that. He doesn't know where it came from and has never been able to identify it.
My character actually has a silver coin that's very similar because I took the haunted background. Like something tragic happened in my past, and I'm kind of like I have a little bit of like PTSD about it, about said tragic incident. I actually worked it into my character's background. The reason his patron is the Reaper is because, and for everyone knowing or watching, this is the patron Reaper there. I kind of homebrew with John's approval.
My broccoli sandwich.
But with the Reaper there, like I kind of worked it into where my character was killed. As his soul was traveling on to the next life, he met the Reaper. The Reaper gave him his life back in essence in turn for his like fealty. And when he basically came back to life, he was the only one that survived the incident. And for the thing he remembers from it is that coin with the marking on it. So maybe sometime in the future we can work on something like tying it in like the same creature that gave that coin. Could be why you're orphaned.
That's what I was going to do, was work it in it that I was dropped off at the church in a basket with just that coin.
So,
and that's like the only like thing I have to go on or put it on it. And I was going to ask John if he could come up, like if he has any cultures or anything like that in mind that he could tie that in with the campaign or adventure or whatever he might concoct between now and whenever he wants to settle background battles.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, we'll talk to him in the group chat then, a little bit later, and even bring it up because that'd be perfect for, since this is a homebrew campaign on his behalf, it'd be perfect for him to kind of organize something like that. So. All right, everyone. This was Jordan, also known as Tyrus Hammerfall. I'll get it right sometime. But he's our resident paladin, half elf, and thank you for doing the interview here.
Welcome. Have a good one.
All right, have a good one. Thank you for doing the interview with me here.
Happy
I
to be
am
here.
recording it so that I can use this for the YouTube video as well. Put some content out there.
Okay.
I guess I'm just going to, in essence, ask you the same exact questions as everyone else. We're going to start off with some personal questions. Name, what got you into D&D, and how long have you played Dungeons & Dragons?
Yeah, so my name's John McCall. I have been playing D&D for 20 years and 1 month.
Holy crap.
Yeah, what got me into it is Christmas 2001, my brother got me a set of 3rd edition books for Christmas. Yeah, and he, put a little inscription in there to many years of role-playing excitement. And then I remember because right after Christmas, we came home. We did this at my grandmother's. We came home to our house, and my brother and I made characters. And I made a character, and he made 2 orcs. And so for me, orcs are like the standard. I'm digressing. All that said, ever since that moment, I've been like into tabletop gaming. D&D has been my my choice, but everything beyond that, honestly, has been my love for the past 20 years.
All right, that's cool. And then
Yeah.
Like I said, everyone has their different reasons for playing and stuff. I know my dog's barking in the background. I know my reasons been playing. It's kind of like my escape, where kids would go and like do drugs or get drunk and all that. I would use this as kind of my escape from the real world. I'd go on the weekends and play this and all.
Okay.
And not that I didn't go to parties or anything, because like I said, I was part of the cool crowd and the loser crowd all at the same time. It was just I found this as a good escape mentally. So
Yeah, it definitely transports you to a new place.
Mhm.
When you're a player, you get to do really cool things. When you're DM, you get to see what the world could be like. So
Yeah. So, how long have you been the dungeon master?
Ooh. Well,
Boom.
I mean,
If you see,
Yeah.
my little picture up on the screen here.
I love it. I love it a lot.
That's
Um,
the mystery figure who's controlling everything. You are the god of the world right now.
yeah, yeah. I like to say the players play their characters and I play everyone else. I actually got an ornament that says, Christmas 2021, everyone else, and then each person in my other game got their own character's name, and I thought it was kind of funny. Um, yeah. So how long have I been DMing? Honestly, since I started playing. Um, in the beginning, my brother was my DM, and then I stopped playing actually for a number of years, and I started playing, single player. Which, if you've ever played Dungeons and Dragons single player, it's more fun than you'd think it would be. Involves a lot of random tables, but that's part of the fun.
I was just gonna say that does seem kind of off the wall there. Like I know the aspect of like I like playing with friends and stuff because you always get the different interactions. But I mean, I guess you could have like three people and just a ghost DM and just go by the
Mhm.
random encounter aspect.
Yeah, and I'm talking like by myself. I would sit there and pour over these like grid notebooks and make maps, and I would make characters and make NPCs and stories and not do much with it. And this was until honestly probably 2010, where I started playing in earnest. I moved out onto my own place, um, and I was like, you know what? I really want to pick up D&D again. At this point, fourth edition had come out, and so I had played a few third edition games and 3.5 games. And then 2010 is really when like I kicked into high gear as a DM. I started with my one friend Igor, and we all kind of played 2 to 3 times a week because I'm 100% a nerd. But it was how we hung out, right? Like we would sit there and talk stories, and then we would play the games, we would play encounters and one shots. Um, and then actually through D&D, I met my almost my entire group of friends now. Because my friend Igor and I were talking about it in a restaurant, and our waiter was like, "Oh, I want to play D&D," and I've known these guys for 11 years now. So, honestly, it's been pretty consistent. I like playing. I like DMing. I tend to fall into the DM role. Um, I like teaching. I can say the same thing over and over again. So the idea of introducing new people, whether it's to the game or just to the rule set, is kind of what gets me excited. And watching characters kind of take shape. In the beginning, everything's so like, oh, my character's an orphan or whatever. But then like, you get to level 10, and these characters are making really big decisions, and the players are really kind of coming into their own. And I think that's probably, what's really given me the energy through being a DM.
Yeah, it's something I explained to Kristen too. As her background for her character is kind of very simple. Just wanted to go out and see the world. She's tired of the mundane, and she just wanted to go on an adventure and stuff like that. And I told her I was like, that's a good background, that's a good start and stuff. But I was like, as you build your characters more, you'll start kind of connecting more on an emotional level with them and stuff, and you'll want to see, you'll put drama in their lives and stuff, and you'll tend to push out and want to see them do more. So you
Yeah,
want to see
exactly.
more of them. You want to see more happen to them, whether it be good or bad.
Yeah, and the character grows, the person grows. Um, yeah, and the world grows to match, and that's what I love the most. Is like, I mean, you've DM'd, right, Chris?
Yeah. A little
So,
bit here and there.
so you know the best part of the DMing is you spend hours and hours planning a session, and then 7 minutes into it, your players do something off the wall,
Yes,
and
all of them.
you just guess.
All
Like
of
the
them.
rest of it is just guessing.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's what I love about it because it's like I can't railroad you into a single thing because it's not a book where
Yeah.
all of us are telling the story together.
For you viewers, in the end, the DM's role is law. So it literally goes DM and then the books. So no matter what the dungeon master says happens, it happens.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could fight it there at the table and whatnot and say that's stupid and all. And of course, it's the DM's job to make the game entertaining for the group and whatnot. But you want to be able to not like if you want something to happen or something that needs to happen, you want to be able to say, okay, this is what happens. I don't care what the book says. This is what happens.
Yeah, and I like to call it rule of fun, right? Some people have a lot of fun by reading the rules and interpreting them strictly, and there's nothing absolutely wrong with that. But at the end of the day, if I want your character to make a long jump that they could never make on their own, but it would be really cool for the story, let's do it. right? And as a player, and for especially for the new players that are watching, don't be afraid to ask. The worst that can happen is no, or here's what you have to do to try, and that's about. Yeah, and that's I think most of the fun of it.
I would say, ask John. We've been pestering him all week about stupid things we could try. Actually, we were pestering him earlier, like an hour ago, about questions. One of the other players, Bill, wants to do some stuff, and we just wanted to make sure. So instead of just doing it, simply ask.
Yeah,
And even if it seems off the wall, he may still give you the opportunity to. It might be a slim chance. You're gonna have to roll some like percentile dice, but still, you can.
yeah. Or here's the other thing too. Let's say your character is looking for a specific herb for reasons that are beyond me because it has nothing to do with the game, but that's what your character wants to do. Well, you know what? That's a whole episode where we can go out and try to find that herb, and you can encounter these amazing monsters along the way before achieving your personal goal. Did it have anything to do with the story? No. Did you make it up on the fly? Yes. But did we all have fun? Totally.
I just know that as soon as we start, my character needs to make some more money. So I'm gonna have to start either gambling or finding a way to make some gold.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. I've kind of kept the mo of the kind of what we're going to experience a little bit quiet, but
That's
I think
good.
it's going
We
to be
like
an
that.
interesting challenge for Reaper.
Yeah, the whole aspect for everyone viewing is shut up, Evan. He's typing in the chat saying spend 3 months in a hallway, and we're pretty famous for that. Checking for traps along the way. We played like every other week and all, and yeah, we just took forever to get down a hallway because we knew how Bill reacted as a DM. So in truth, I blame him. But want to go on the aspect real quick that John, you're actually new to us, playing with
Yeah.
us and stuff like that. You're a new friend for us. I actually met you on the Facebook group because you actually just recently moved into the area and all, and maybe give your point of view and tips on helping new players who want to join the group but don't have any other friends that want to play. Because like how we found you, we wanted all of the group of friends we have here that play. We wanted to find someone to DM for us because we've never actually played all as in one group. So I personally went on the Facebook and just put out a message saying, "Hey, looking for somebody willing and wanting to DM a bunch of idiots playing D&D 5th edition." And so, like, do you have any pointers for the viewers that way?
Yeah. Well, I tell you a little story. When I first started learning, it was 2001, 2002. Facebook wasn't a thing, so trying to find players was really in my middle school going to people that I know and hope they didn't turn me away because I asked about Dungeons and Dragons, right? But now you have Facebook. It's almost like a great equalizer. And I think that's the thing. If you want to go and find a group, just go ask. There's a tons of Facebook groups. Literally, all I did was I typed in Pittsburgh Dungeons and Dragons, and it showed right up.
That's
Um,
exactly what I did, and I joined the group and literally posted it.
and it's great, right? And it was free, and like I made my post, and I was scrolling through, and then a post from 6 months ago, some guy was like, "Hey, I have a group of my friends want to play D&D, but we don't have a dungeon master." And I was like, I messaged and I commented, and I was like, "Yeah, I can help out if you want, like if you still need it." I figured it was 6 months ago; they probably found somebody. And now here we are. I'm doing my interview, getting ready for session one, and make new friends along the way, right? Because I don't live in Pittsburgh. Well, I do now, but I'm not from here. I don't know anybody. Um, and so the ability to make new friends and meet new people and experience something really cool like Dungeons and Dragons is great. The other thing too is try to find a group that you get along with and is okay with the fact that you're new. Um, Sometimes people will, with a D&D group, like it's a core group of friends and they don't like new things. And that's okay, but that might not be for you as a new player. Try to find groups where people are open to teaching, taking it a little bit slower, doing the standard go kill a goblin and have some fun, right? Um, I think those are a couple good things. The other thing too is just ask questions. Most people within the D&D community are really open to answering questions. Feel free to ask. And if you're ever super unsure, they do have paid DMs, where you can go in and pay a few dollars and have somebody DM the game. That's a really good way. That's low stress because at that point that you're buying a service. But
True,
when you're ready
but to
in
me,
earnest, play
like
some
with
friends.
yeah, with
You know.
this, you want to play with friends. You want to make friends and you want to build like a community out of this and all. And so that's like whenever I originally posted the post and all when we first met, I think one of the first people said, "Is this a paid opportunity?" And I was like, "Get out of here."
No.
No. I'm
No,
just
it's
looking
not.
for somebody to become a friend and all that and who would want to DM for us. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I agree. If you're gonna play a game, definitely, use your social networking skills. Facebook is a great place. Reddit, Nextdoor, game stores, all these places are great avenues.
yeah.
Um,
The world of
or
technology is a wonder.
yeah, or honestly, be that guy that grabs a player's handbook and sits in a coffee shop. I have met people that do that, and now some of them are my friends. So I feel like it all works out well.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
all right. Before we wrap it up here, is there any little tidbit that you'd like to add to any new or veteran players, or any little tidbit you'd like to add about DMing or even yourself?
Yeah, I think I'll close out on the topic of DMing with you have to have fun with it. As a DM, your job isn't just to make dangerous dungeons and fantastic monsters. Your job as a DM is also to make sure your players have fun. So make sure you're having fun as well. Everybody plays together. And then me as a person, I'm excited to do this. I'm going to make mistakes because I'm human. I have yet to be perfect, despite me trying. But I want to make mistakes. The players are going to make mistakes, and you, as a new player or even a veteran player, you're going to make mistakes, and that's fine. Just keep having fun and keep enjoying the experience for what it is. But I'm really excited. I think session 1 or episode 1 is going to be really excited. I think you're all going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm gonna our session for today that we're gonna play for a couple of hours. I think I'm gonna actually put that into to this session of like 0.5 ish, just because I think Jordan, like I said, may not be able to play today. So since we're still gonna play, I think I'm just gonna wrap this one up as a kind of like what's gonna be part of the story, but as a demo session. Since I'm gonna put it after all these interviews on the YouTube video. So check out the YouTube video, everyone, and like, subscribe, follow, leave comments on what you think our character should do, or any kind of opinions that you want to leave down there. Keep it PG, keep it nice. We don't need any jerks. Some of the other players are already jerks enough. Bill. So, but yeah. Everyone have a blessed evening and keep in touch. And I'll be streaming actually in about 2 hours the half episode session 1 of us playing D&D. So thank you, John.
Thanks, Chris. Take care.